What is the biggest thing to be aware of in the next 3 days? Well, the next 3 trading days, it is, as we get prepared to witness the monthly closure, which has major implications for the next few months to come. And in fact, something major is actually brewing right here as well. And then we'll even go through the lower term timeframes. But before we get into that, I should probably I should probably welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a lovely, I don't know, day. I don't know what day it is. It's a day. It's a day. And they all end with day. Anyways, I expect today's video is going to be a little bit on the shorter side. I just want to get through this one because things on the lower term timeframes more or less unchanged, even on the medium and higher term timeframes as well. But I wanted to speak about a bit of a different topic today that I haven't really gone over too much in detail recently. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, starting off right over here with the monthly time frame. So in 3 days, this one will close, and there's something major happening right here, or potentially happening, assuming that Bitcoin can essentially close anywhere above 30,000 bucks would kind of do it for me. And what is it? Well, it is a bullish engulfing dildo in front of our very faces as of right now. You can see that the current June candle is actually trading below the prior, below the low of the prior, I should say, of May, which I think a lot of people actually get this engulfing wrong, but you need to see the wick low lower than the prior wick low, for fuck's sake. And then you want to see, of course, the current close above the wick high of the prior, which we do have right now as well. And that will actually be consistent as long as Bitcoin is especially above 30,000 bucks, but technically speaking, it would still be available above 29,870 on the index right here. So assuming that Bitcoin does remain above that level in the next 3 days, yes, you will have a bullish engulfing dildo and very likely continuation to be transpired on the back of that. Especially when we do see that there is an engulfing right at the edge of actually what is kind of like a multi-year support / resistance. You can see that Bitcoin essentially based off of this $30,000 region starting in about May of 2021, broke down last year in June of 2022, and has been grinding up against the same region, for the last few months actually. So having a bullish engulfing right around a region like this is of significant interest, kind of playing hand in hand with a lot of the other things that we have been looking at on this channel with the 5-day volatility versus stochastic momentum setup, plus the what other subs have we been looking at, plus the daily jewel setup, plus several of the other things, as well, which are kind of escaping my mind right now. But yes, all of those things go hand in hand. Likely be getting continuation, into July. I almost said the wrong word there. But what I mean to say is into the next few months. If I throw on the major moving averages that I have on the chart as well, you can see that Bitcoin is, essentially reclaiming all major moving averages for what it's worth right now as well. We can see that Bitcoin essentially bounced off the low 55 exponential moving average right here, which is a good sign as well. And they're all actually almost back in a full-on bullish posture, which will inevitably be happening as long as Bitcoin's above mid $28,000 territory. With that in mind, I do want to now go into the lower term timeframes and speak a little bit more to that, because yesterday we were saying that, hey, if Bitcoin's going to have, a bit of a pullback, maybe down to like 29,000 or 29,500-ish region, probably happens in the early portion of this week. There has been a few attempts thus far around that region. And while I wouldn't say that it's necessarily out of the woods just yet, it is looking less and less likely, obviously, the more that Bitcoin goes sideways here. Sideways is going to be beneficial towards the boo laws. And now we can see that the bottom side of even the short-term time frame ranges is moving up just above 30,000 bucks. So as long as Bitcoin's closing above there, even on short-term time frames, that actually looks like things might reaccumulate within this region. Of course, below 30,000 bucks, that's at the point where, hey, I would say same thing as before. Bitcoin probably plays at that pullback somewhere between 29.5 to 29,000 bucks even. And I'd be looking for bounce from that region. But until then, I think, at least from what I can gather, and perhaps you can to let me know if you've seen the same thing or if you agree with this, but what I can gather is many people are looking for a greater pullback off of the $30,000 region or the $31,000 region. I see a lot of people talking about 28 or 28.5. I do think that that's a lot less likely. And I would even go as far to say that if Bitcoin comes down below that region, or especially below 29,000 bucks, I would think that the current rally is starting to look like a bit of a bull trap, and I'd probably be looking for much more severe downside than that. But anyways, in this case right here, same thing as, as before, essentially. Bitcoin were to play at a pullback in the more short term, over the next couple of days, still looking somewhere around like 29.5, let's say, and probably bounce from there. Really only problems below about 29,000 bucks even, let's say. Anyways, moving on now, like I said, I did want to make this one a little bit more on the short side. Let's go ahead and reference stochastic momentum, see if there's any sort of, resetting action going on here. And we can even start off with the lower term timeframes like the hourly. Do keep in mind that there is that CME gap coming in from last Friday's closure. That is about 31,000 bucks. So, that's also why the longer that we kind of see this one trade sideways here, it's probably more likely to fill the gap before anything else. But hourly stochastic momentum will actually be headed to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 30,400. Right now, kind of trading right around that region, so not really going to be getting too much from that, to be quite frank with you. 4-hour time frame is going to be likely headed to the downside, and indeed it is, as long as Bitcoin's below 30,800. But again, without Bitcoin really fully breaking down below 30,000 bucks, it does look like this is starting to be more and more of a reset. The reason why I also say that is because volatility of stochastic momentum, represented by this all sort of right here, is moving down in unison with that as well, and actually contracting rather rapidly. 6-hour time frame is also going to be showing downside below 31,300. Again, short term still likely to be more corrective or best sideways. But the longer that it kind of spends going sideways without really breaking down below that $30,000 region, the more and more this is just going to be interpreted as a reset. 12-hour time frame going to be fresh down again below 31,100 or so, and then the daily is going to be positioned to the upside above 30,000 bucks. 2-day time frame is still fucking vertical above 26, which I believe is also closing today as well. Yes, indeed it is. 5-day time frame is going to be fresh up above 29,000 bucks. Got another 3 days left to go, so that will take us into, of course, the monthly closure. And by the by here, Bitcoin again above 29,000 bucks. Well, I guess, no, that would not still be an engulfing right around there. But ultimately, I do want to see this one continue above that pivot, obviously, if Bitcoin's going to have continuation sooner rather than later. Again, this is within the context of extreme lows on volatility here on the 5-day time frame. So once we do see expansion, move is very unlikely to be done here. I mean, just like as a general understanding of this, Bitcoin went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 9 weeks essentially of sideways and downside price action before, having that nice move up to, last week, I suppose. But my point with this is that, well, after 1 week, after 9 weeks of compression, of volatility compression and consolidation above a major, $25,000 region, it's unlikely to be done just in this one 5-day dildo right here. It's very likely to, maybe trade sideways for a little bit, but ultimately have continuation of the upside. Like, you don't spend 9 fucking weeks consolidating just for 1 week of a busting action. Likely to lead on to more of that as well. Probably sometime in July, if I had to guess. But yeah, that was the main focus of today. Again, a little bit on the shorter side, as it wasn't a whole hell of a lot of new things to be speaking about. And I don't want to bore you with, continuation of the other higher term time frame analyses that we've been looking at, just because it's nothing new there as of right now. The monthly is a big one for me right here. Again, anywhere above last month's high, which is 29,900, you have your engulfing and very likely continuation spun off the back of that, as Bitcoin again continues to remain above all major moving averages, as we can see right here. So there we go. All right, beautiful. I'm going to be signing off on that note. As always, wish you the best. Hey, stop that. Oh, actually, don't stop that. That was good. Good bot. Very good bot. I don't know. Should we go over some Dixie action in the meantime? Sure, why not, man? Sure, why not? Did this one come all the way down to our 101 region? 101.92, it looks like. I think this one still comes down here. That hidden bearish divergence plus all major moving averages in a bearish posture right here. Does that benefit Bitcoin / other risk on assets? Perhaps yes. Again, I'll still be looking for this one to come down towards lower 101. So, 101.40, 101.20-ish region, somewhere around there. And then probably set up for the next bounce. But, as of right now, it's starting to kind of wedge itself into descending triangle right here. We do see a pair of lower highs. We saw a hidden bearish divergence. And even the weekly jewel is about to turn down yet again with the DMI in support of that. So, it could be something like this where it comes down, bounces off, and then boom. That would be, I guess, a little bit more in favor of the boo laws long term, I suppose. But yeah, good place for me to be leaving off. As always, wishing you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.